and I know one of the other things to come out of the South Florida Hunger Coalition, now I got to get my terminology straight, also that mobile unit that's doing the cooking demonstrations,
the need to feed with Gina. We do twice a year, and next year we're going to do 4 times a year. She brings the mobile unit. We invite residents from the community. She does a demonstration, a cooking demonstration. She brings the food. She feeds the mass. I mean, we had up to 200 people at one time in a picnic type setting. And then we did a spin of it that Hope Outreach provided the recipe materials for every family to take home and try it at their homes.
Nice.
I just think that we're all doing so much of a shared work. It's just so important. And the numbers of people that we have to serve shows that there's a great need in this community. Every year we're serving 1.3 million hot meals, and we're giving out over 20,000 food boxes, and we still see the same issues. So this year we did our first summer initiative where we gave out healthy snack packs for 425 children, families with children. We're also working to find new ways to make sure that there are healthy alternatives for parents. So we partnered with Whole Foods, and they came in and did a cooking demonstration for us so that our families are more aware of how to cook healthier, and that certain fruits and vegetables that they may not have been exposed to are available, and sometimes they're not as expensive as people may think. So just introducing them to those opportunities is really, really powerful. It can be life-changing for the kids. And then every day, just noticing these children who are hungry or who don't have access to food is really, really powerful. Recently, we had a young man come, and it was the middle of the day, and someone told him, go see the CEO over there. They just call me Melanie, so no one even calls me the CEO. So he came, and he was hungry. And this is a high school student. He was hungry. He didn't have food. He didn't go to school that day because he didn't eat. And I had a drawer full of Nutri-Grain bars and some applesauce, some other things. We have a full-fledged pantry and everything, but I was talking to him. So I took out like 5 of the Nutri-Grain bars, and I'm like, here, take these. Eat this now, and we'll get you something in a minute. Let me find out what your situation is. And he took them and he put them in his bag. And I thought, I said, you should eat it now. He says, no, I need to save it for my siblings. So that was just it was so difficult for me as a parent to know that that is an issue for kids every single day. And these are not the kids who may go to a program. These are the kids who just live in the neighborhood who may not even come in for help, or their parents may be too prideful to come in for help. And so we have to look for opportunities to reach that population that is not really being reached. And we have to run the kind of programs that are accessible, where people know that we provide support in a loving way and that we afford them dignity when they come in. Because if we do that, then people will come. And so for his situation,
on the news, it's always, you hear on the news all the time that the people who need food, they're lazy, they're shiftless, they're bad, there's something. We need to cut out all the fraud. And I'm sure there is some fraud. I mean, yeah, any system you have, somebody's going to game it. But for the most part, these are people who are working, they care about their families, they're struggling, and there but for the grace of God go any of us, right? I mean, something happens, your agency is gone, your job is gone, someone gets sick. You never know when that's going to be you that needs that hand up. And so we really shouldn't be stigmatizing people. Not obviously no one at this table is.
Right.
And the children, it's just wrong. This time of year, this program may run a lot of times, but we're starting now in November. It's often easy to get donations, but I do want to give you a chance to put that plug in that we need food donations year round. That was part of the idea of what started out as the Million Meals Committee, is people are not only hungry in November and December. They really get hungry in the summer, they get hungry in January, they get hungry in February. And so you need those donations year round, right?
Especially the summertime, because especially for Hope Outreach, most of the families we serve are working families, but they're in the service industry or in the agriculture industry. So summertime for them is lower wages because hours are cut because tourism is down and so is agriculture. the schools don't have the summer feeding program for the free lunch and free breakfast, so the demand on the food pantries goes sky high. And that's when all the schools are out, businesses are on vacation mode, so we're just going everywhere to ask for food, because that is one of the times we need it the most. And that's one of the times that, we have to purchase a lot of the food.
Some of the people that we help, because we're not feeding people at the JCC, at the WECARE, we give them the food to take. A lot of our seniors who are living on a fixed income, and there are a lot of seniors and grandparents out there raising their grandchildren. So you have people on a fixed income who are no longer working, not getting any support or financial, now they're having to raise grandchildren, doing it again. A lot of our families they're working families, a lot are single parent households. And, and like you said, it could be our neighbors, it could be somebody sitting at this table with us, it can probably, I'm sure it's people watching this program. We don't know, and we know how life can change on a dime. So a lot of these families are trying to they have to pay their bills every month to keep a roof over their head, to keep gas in their car, to keep their electricity on, and hopefully for some childcare for their children. So what do you get to play with? You get to play with the food budget. So once you pay those things that you have to, keep, going, there's not enough left for enough nutritious food. And the same thing you just said, this is a time of year, everyone's into holidays, generosity, and we help, we'll be distributing over 300 packages for Thanksgiving through certain agencies. We're a smaller feeding program, but we do help a lot of people in the community. But I tell everybody that in the summer people go on vacation, but hunger does not take a vacation.
Talk about the summer program for a moment, the summer food boxes.
I was hoping you were going to ask
me. Yes, we don't have much time, but make sure you get it in.
All right, so for the last, I think, 3 or 4 years, we have worked in collaboration with the Children's Services Council and the National Council of Jewish Women, who's received a grant from the Children's Services Council to pack summer food boxes for families in need. This past summer, we packed over 600 boxes in 3 different packing events at the JCC with volunteers from National Council of Jewish Women, community volunteers, and they were distributed through the school social workers. Actually, we were able to start the program earlier this year, so school social workers were able to distribute them before school got out for the summer, through Lifenet for Families, through Gateway Community Outreach, and through us at the JCC. So through the summer, we helped over 2,000 children. Families with over 2,000 children got a box of more nutritious food to help them, make sure their children had more food to eat during the summer. It was wonderful. And we hope to continue. It's been a wonderful partnership, and it's a wonderful thing that we're doing together.
It is, and we thank you so much, because it makes a big difference for families.
Everything we can do, it's a supplement, but the more we can do.
And it's interesting how these community collaborations really work, because we did something similar with the YMCA during their backpack distribution for Go Back to School. In the same vein of this summer break spot program, we expanded that from not just the housing authorities, but also to include their one-day backpack distribution program. And in one day, we fed 500 kids a healthy lunch. So I think it really just goes to show how when you bring these community agencies together, especially how the South Florida Hunger Coalition has done that so successfully, there's a lot of innovative ways we can get to these populations that are kind of harder to get to on our own.
And speaking of innovations, we talked about the fact that fresh fruits and vegetables are critical, and one of the ways that the community has addressed that is through community gardens. Hands on Broward has been spreading those throughout the community, several other partners, Touch and so on. But right now, we're going to take a look at the Miramar Community Garden and hear from Scott Halderman, responsible for the structure and maintenance of that facility.
Well, as you can see, we're in the middle of a park system inside of a neighborhood. So we are tucked in and not visible on main highways, but anybody who lives in this community knows that we are here. The number one comment I get from people at green markets and events that we do is, I've seen you guys out there and I've been meaning to come by and check you out. So it's the visibility, I think, more than anything, that's going to help promote what's possible here in South Florida. Well, we have opportunities for any group actually to come. They could take ownership of a bed plant that bed with some education and to know what's going to be good for this season to grow. And as well as good practices, because we are organic in this garden. We don't allow chemical pesticides or fertilizers, so we have different methods of dealing with the pests. We've had several groups come out. Usually they engage us because they've heard about us. They either need CEUs or credit hours for their for graduation or for badges. We also are very lucky. We have two things in this park. Right next to us is Fairway Elementary, and they can come over, especially when the teachers are doing science projects or things that are applicable in the classroom. They come over, do tours of the garden. We also have an after-school program that's part of the park. So those kids can come over, do a project, a set project. The way the harvest works in this garden, since we are a community garden, we work the whole garden together, which means we harvest the whole garden together. We pull whatever's ready, it sits up there, we divvy it up amongst our members and a few of the neighborhood people who come over regularly and help us out. I think our big thrust here at the garden, as well as education about how to grow plants and what to grow. We also are very mindful of supporting the local farmer ecology here, eating fruits that are seasonally producing so that we're not paying for the transport across the country. If it can be grown here, why not get it from here? So our big thrust in education for an interdimensional, because we have elderly, we have young, we have everybody come to this garden, is to teach them how Florida is its own microclimate, South Florida. We are different than the entire rest of the country, so usually gardening books you get are not applicable to South Florida. You have to know what the seasons are down here and what to grow when. I think the very important thing to realize that if you don't support your local farmer, your local agriculture business, then you are at the whims of larger corporations, companies that don't care about you, don't know about you locally, have stores everywhere, and are doing products that are primarily grown because they can be stored and transported for a very long period of time, as opposed to here, which I literally will walk by a bag, pick something out, dust it off a little bit, and eat it right there, because I know what it's been grown in, I know what it's been treated with, and I also now know the varieties that are capable of being grown here in South Florida.
As you can hear, the community gardens provide a fantastic opportunity to get your hands dirty, learn about how to plant and grow fruits and vegetables, and how to eat them and use them. We've also gotten some great information today from some wonderful agencies dealing with hunger in our community. They all take donations, both of goods and of financial sort. But if you are hungry or someone you know is hungry, please make sure to reach out to 211 or any of these agencies. And if you're not hungry but you'd like to help, please reach out as well. I want to thank Susan Baigelman, Melanie Geddes, Helen Shinners, Mark Adler, and Scott Halderman for talking to us about the many ways the community works to eliminate childhood hunger in Broward while ensuring that all children have access to wholesome, nutritious meals. You can learn more about these efforts by visiting www.millionmeals.org. I've been your host, Cindy Arenberg-Seltzer, President and CEO of the Children's Services Council of Broward County, where our mission is to empower Broward's children to become responsible, productive adults, capable of realizing their full potential, their hopes, and their dreams. For copies of this program or any other episode of Future First, please call the Children's Services Council at 954-377-1000 or visit www.cscbroward.org. Like us on Facebook, and remember to join us next time on Future First. Focus on Broward's children.